This is very unusual. Yes, your elderly neighbor is the reclusive sort, but he's never neglected to care for his animals. From the way they're acting, it has definitely been at least a day since they were last fed. Your father calling your name breaks the train of thought, and you quickly try to catch up to him, until you realize that he's instructing you to stay where you are. Then you catch the smell, and you see the horrified look on your father's face. Something in the house is burning, or was burning. Hopefully Mr. Raymeyer's okay. Next thing you know, your father walks back out of the house and walks quickly towards you, saying, "We need to contact the police and tell them to come here immediately. Mr. Raymeyer's dead." Dead, 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 dead. The words echo in your head for what seems like an eternity. Once again, your father is calling your name, and now his hands are gently resting on your shoulders. The land you're standing on is currently known as Raymeyer's Hollow, but the house and the tale of what happened inside will soon be known by other names. I'm Bree.
I'm Christiana.
I'm Sage.
I'm Frank.
Watch out for hexes.
Don't answer your door.
Because you're about to hear
Something strange.
Welcome to episode 24, Pennsylvania Dutch, Pow Wow, and the Hex House Murder.
All right, so before we get too far into this, let's introduce our guests.
Shout yourselves out.
I'm Frank,
I'm Sage.
and we're the host of Unknown, Unsolved, Unseen, also known as Triple U. We do all the weird stuff of the world, the unknown, the unsolved, and the unseen, that's set in the title.
Yeah, cryptids, mysteries, hauntings, mysterious deaths, all of the above.
Yeah.
Aliens, it's a big one.
Yeah, and we had you guys on our podcast a while back, and, we wanted to, reciprocate.
Thank you for coming, and we loved being in your Cleopatra episode, so this should be a lot of fun.
We loved having you on our episode. That was probably one of the best episodes we've recorded. I really enjoyed that one. It really made me think, and we had really great conversations of that, because you know what they say, Jesus died for our sins, Julius Caesar died for our salads.
And don't eat the mummies.
And
That's-
don't even know you.
Don't eat the
I have both those things stuck in my head.
But no,
All
seriously,
right.
thank you for having us on here. We're very
Yeah.
excited. I don't actually know if I know much
I
about this.
know one thing is that this is local to all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Stewartstown area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not that far. That's right on the border.
Yeah, I've heard about this on one other podcast a long time ago, and I did not pay much attention to the episode, so I know virtually nothing. Just that it happened here.
Prepare to be educated.
Yes, absolutely.
I always shout out my sources, so I'm just going to kind of go through them quickly, if that's okay with y'all.
Yeah, of course.
Good with
So as always, we start with Wikipedia because I have a hard time going through an episode without citing Wikipedia for some reason.
who
Same.
doesn't? Yeah, who doesn't?
It is. So there is a article on Wikipedia called Raymeyer's Hollow, Uncharted Lancaster, Witchcraft and Murder in Hex Hollow, the York Daily Record, Murder and Witchcraft, the incredible story of York County's Hex Murder. These get more and more legit, and then less and less legit, and then more and more legit.
As long as it exists, the source is good to some extent.
The Squonk and the Hag, Nelson Raymeyer, and the Hex Hollow Murder. That sounds like a book.
I was just gonna say that sounds like a novel.
WGAL's YouTube channel, Spells, Curses, and Murder, the story of the infamous Hex House. American Hauntings, the Hex House, even though there's no ghosts, apparently. Penn Live, Hex Murder, Roiled,
Yeah.
Central PA, a century ago. York County Library's YouTube channel, Murder in Hex Hollow, a true crime story from the York County Libraries.
Oh.
A Wikipedia article on powwowing. The Glen Carn Museum, powwowing in Pennsylvania, healing rituals of the Pennsylvania Dutch. Lancaster Online, What is Pow Wow? The Pennsylvania Dutch spiritual healing practice. And Burke's History Center, the origin and practice of Pow Wow among the Pennsylvania Germans. I have a pretty extensive list for this one.
Yeah, that is, wow. You did some good research.
Flashbacks to grad school.
Fair.
All right. So you guys kind of already answered this question a little bit, but like, what does everyone know about Pennsylvania Dutch powwowing and the Hex House murder?
I know morbid episode on Ray Meyer's Hollow. They did an episode on it, but it was a long time ago. I haven't listened to it in a while, so I don't remember all the details, but I do remember it was a pretty rough one. And they talked about Pow Wow in that episode, and it's kind of a Pennsylvania Dutch sort of witchcraft practice, but it's like healing magic.
Christian folk magic.
Christian folk magic. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so I
It's
just
true.
looked. The morbid episode was July 4th, 2020.
Wow.
Holy
So,
cow.
Yeah.
So I
There you
did
go.
listen to that because it's showing as played on my. So I do probably know more than I think.
We'll come back to you during the episode.
Yeah, it might come back. Yeah, it might. But as for like,
Yeah.
This sounds familiar.
yeah, as for PA Dutch, like I'm not 100% sure about like the powwow stuff. I probably, like I said, it'll come back to me. But Pennsylvania Dutch, if anyone lives around this area or knows, we do Fosnot Day, which is the day before. It's just Fat Tuesday, the day before the beginning of Lent and Ash Wednesday, and they make the Pennsylvania Dutch potato donut or potato donuts, and they're so good.
Mhm.
And then
They're awesome.
PA Dutch fudge is really that. It's all food. That's what I
Oh.
know apparently.
Yeah, speaking
Slippery
of
pot pie.
Oh,
Fosnots, there's somebody at my work who every year on Fosnot Day we all take bets on how many he'll eat. I think the most he's had in one day was 11.
I could do it.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not healthy though. I don't want to be that guy.
What? I support it though.
You know what's fun? To describe, okay, so I'm from Berks County, not York County. To describe a red beet egg or a pickled egg to someone not from Pennsylvania and watch their reaction. It's beautiful.
They're like, ew.
Like, what do you mean you pickle it with beets?
Yeah, I I had that happen when I talked about like when I went to grad school. I was one of like 2 people that are from this area that went to this local school, and I was like, "Hey, everybody, here's Fosnots," and they're like, "What the heck is that? Like, what do you?" And I'm like, "It's a potato donut. How dare you disgrace the Pennsylvania Dutch potato donut? Like, come on, man."
Correct.
But
The most important part of this entire story.
Yes.
yeah, so that has nothing to do with the Hex House, I'm assuming, but that is what I know.
Pennsylvania Dutch though. But
There could have been Fosnot, it just wasn't reported.
Yeah.
true.
He could have died eating a fossil.
Yeah, when did
Wait.
when did this occur? Was this like summer?
This was in November when this occurred, so it would not have been around Fosnot.
Maybe the investigation. Maybe they were eating Fosnots during the investigation.
Who knows? For what I know on this though is let's do a podcast a long time ago on this. The things I remember was guy died, the house burned down, happened in this area. I literally cannot remember anything else.
Yeah. And when we're saying Pennsylvania Dutch or Pennsylvania Deutsch, we're talking about Pennsylvania German. So people of German ancestry that made their way to this area of like central and south central Pennsylvania.
For the sake of our listeners.
Yeah, who might not know. That's the majority of people in like the area we're going to be talking about were from a Pennsylvania German, Pennsylvania Dutch background for this story. All right, so now that we've all shared those things, let's get into Pennsylvania Dutch powwowing because you kind of have to understand this belief a little bit to understand the murders. I think like Christiana mentioned earlier, it's a form of Christian mysticism, folk magic using faith healing, prayer, and charms. It is not in any way related to Native American powwow. Wikipedia kind of described it as a loan word, and the practices and beliefs that were kind of central to Pennsylvania Dutch powwowing came from Europe. What Wikipedia kind of said was they may have used this word because of the healing focus on it, might have seemed similar to some of like the powwow rituals of Native Americans. Some of my sources said that it was not only practiced by like the Pennsylvania Dutch, like the Englishers, if you're talking more of like Amish and Mennonite. Some sources said that Amish and Mennonite practiced it too, and some did not. I couldn't get a consensus on that. I don't know.
That's interesting. Because you think of Amish and Mennonite being stereotypically very strict and It's just not something I can picture them doing.
But
so that's really interesting.
They do have, from what I understand, I'm not Amish or Mennonite, they do have their own, like, very unique spiritual beliefs, so I could
Yeah.
see kind of the folk magic-y stuff.
being a part of it.
Yeah.
I could see it being a part of it too, because they don't use any kind of modern, like, technology,
Mhm.
modern medicine or things like that, and so this could be the kind, like literally for healing is what they're going to use, because they don't
That's
use
true.
anything that we would in today's day and age.
For
Mhm.
living
Because
not.
it's a very...
Oh, go ahead.
Fun. Fun.
I was going to say, for living by the Amish for most of our lives, I don't know too much about them. I've never really tried to understand their culture.
Well, I think part of it is it's such a closed
Yeah.
culture that, I mean, I grew up, like, Reading area. We're right next to Lancaster. We had a huge Mennonite population, and, like, my encounters with them were seeing the horse and buggies on the road, going to the farm markets, and they owned a couple of, like, horse equipment tack stores. That was all of my interactions. What did people who were doing the powwowing do? Well, they could, it said make a living, but you would not be asking for payment, and it was not required. So you would kind of be, like, almost more of a calling, I would say.
Mhm.
So they would do the following. They'd cure illnesses through faith, healing, using magic powders, potions, and charms. They could hex and remove hexes. This is important later. So there's a couple of books and texts that were important for this. The big one is The Long Lost Friend by John George, I think it's pronounced Homan, and it was used by a lot of people who practiced powwow and even those who didn't. So there is nothing in this text about hexing or cursing people. And he was a German immigrant who settled in Berks County. I got to throw that out there because that's my home county.
Hey.
Another text was Albert Magnus's Egyptian Secrets, aka the 6th and 7th Book of Moses. And we're tying back into Cleopatra.
Oh, cool.
Go back to
Egypt.
Cleopatra.
It's the only tie-in because it's Egypt. The Bible was used a lot too. Active prayer is an important aspect of this. The prayer is used to heal both physically and spiritually, for protection and for the detection of curses. The practitioner would become a conduct for God's power to flow into them, and then this would be used to do whatever they were trying to accomplish. They could remove harmful types of magic, and it could be used to find lost people, animals, things, foretell the future, all that fun stuff. In general, anyone could powwow, but there were certain families that were thought to just be more adept at it. Traditions were passed down generation to generation. Different families would have their own, what they called recipe books, of, like, the different potions, the different powders, all of that stuff.
So like a grimoire almost,
Yeah, kind of.
or Book of Shadow. Would that be?
I was like,
I'm not sure if that's the same thing.
I am not the knowledgeable person on that.
Definitely grimoire is what I think would fit that, which is something I
Yeah.
just typically wouldn't associate with, like, a Christian, like, background.
Calling on my Halloween Town roots. I do believe it is a grimoire. That is the family spell book. Because I'm pretty sure that is, like, the central theme of one of those movies.
Yeah, it's the second one, right?
I think, yeah.
Mars Revenge.
Yes.
I
I love
appreciate
those
that you
movies.
looked
I love
into
those movies.
Halloween Town mentioned. That's a first.
I mean,
Okay.
this is going to come out right in time for, like the Halloween Town movies will be up again by that point.
That's true.
So,
Oh, yeah, go
good
watch
tie-in.
it.
What? Don't we watch it every year?
Yep. At least the first one.
Her choice, not mine.
No.
Oh,
I don't do
John, you
traditional
start
horror
shading
movies.
down.
I do all the horror movies, but yours is Halloween Town.
And Nightmare Before Christmas.
That too. That's a good
Good
one.
one,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll agree on that one. Timeless classic.
I love it.
So kind of like on this spooky thing that we're on, in addition to the powwowers or the people that were practicing more of the healing magic, there were people that were called, I think it's pronounced hexery. And these were, this is a quote, I don't know what it means. They drew their powers from the devil or other ungodly sources. Who these other sources were, I don't know.
The Fae.
The Fae.
It's always the answer.
The Fae is always the answer.
Correct.
People who were hexery harassed their neighbors and quote unquote committed criminal acts. Another thing that didn't, like, whatever the source was, just kind of said that and just moved on.
Okay.
No need to elaborate.
Yeah, hexery do crimes, I don't know. They were sometimes called hex doctors, but not always, because apparently the Pow Wow doctors that would undo hexes were also called hex doctors, so it's confusing.
Okay.
Every time you say hex, it just makes me think of like that League of Legends show on Netflix, Arcane, how they have hex tech there. All I think of when you say hex.
That's her newest type of fixation.
Triggered.
I haven't watched it yet.
So
Is it-
no spoilers, but
And
I'm
I won't
joining
say any
with your
spoilers,
cult.
but the word hex tech is used so much, and I'm like, that's what I just keep thinking of.
yeah,
I'm gonna get there eventually. Once my singing season ends, I'll have at least an hour, at least 2 hours back in my day.
I'm dragging you into Victor's cult with me.
Whether I like it or not by the hair. A lot of these attacks by the hexery were on animals and crops, and they were always blamed when something went wrong with like livestock or crops, which if you're in a very big agricultural society, and the murders themselves, the time period I'm talking about are like the late early 1900s. So it's like, oh my goodness, my crops are dead. This is horrible. It must be my neighbor who's a witch.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the weather wasn't conducive, or or my cow drops dead.
Straight to witchcraft.
Exactly. I mean, it's 100% proven successful accusation.
I mean, it's a successful accusation, yeah.
That's what's bad. Is like, yeah, a lot of people died from it.
I just can't believe that relatively in human history, that was not long ago.
Oh no.
Oh no,
That's-
it really.
Like the murders we're gonna talk about in a little bit were 1928, 1929, somewhere around there. And that's less than 100 years ago.
Wow,
That's crazy.
Scary.
I thought it was further back,
Mm.
but
I had family
No.
who was literally like born before this murder took place. Like that were still alive, like not that long ago.
is your great grandmother older than this?
No, but my great grandmother lived to 102 and she was born in I think the
Oh wow,
like early 1910s.
Wow.
wow.
It's wild.
Did you
Yeah.
ask her about
You know? She lived in Connecticut.
I'm sure they had their own like witch,
Oh yeah,
There-
the Hartford trials.
yeah, in the early 1900s.
Well, not the early 1900s, but the Hartford trials happened, and I'm potentially related to one of the accused.
That's
So-
right, because your great grandmother threw rocks at people.
it? What a claim to fame.
Probably. Love it. Every time I think about that, I have to laugh.
And here's the thing. So we've known each other for like 13 years, and there's two things that happen on this podcast. She drops things that I've never heard before.
Don't think about it.
And also, she's like, I've never seen a ghost. I've never had a paranormal experience. But this one time, I was in a cave and it seemed alive. One of those two things happened.
Bree's just sitting here like, oh, okay. Dropping lore.
She does. It's like,
I don't think about it in my day-to-day life.
Oh, that's
13
so
years.
fair.
You should not drop those breadcrumbs. Expand the lore every once in a while. Keep them on their toes.
that's kind of just like an overview of Pow Wow, all of that stuff. Any thoughts, any questions before we get into like actual murder?
Is Pow Wow still practiced?
So there are people that do. There was in some of like the more like new wave religions in like the 90s. Like there are people that still claim to practice Pow Wow.
I would love to see that at some point. I think it'd be like in a respectful way, not trying to make it
You
like
like sneak in the bushes and watch.
yeah,
them.
I'm not trying to like gawk at their practice. It just that's so interesting to me.
Like when you watch from the
Most
bushes
of-
as the witches do the circle around the fire. Like we'll just be
Yeah.
doing that, except like it's so bad when we're on the outside.
Yes.
Hey,
Most
you don't have
of
to
my
be in the bushes.
sources-
We have drones now.
We have we do have drones now. It's like get a little closer, get a little closer. Oh crap, they're throwing rocks at me.
They're,
Oh my gosh.
they're dancing around the fire and you just hear
Do you know all those drones that were seen like in New Jersey or whatever a couple of months ago? That's what they were doing. They were spying on religious practices.
Honestly,
I
I
solved it.
literally wouldn't put it past them for that to be the case.
I want to know what Pow Wow information
Yeah.
they got. I think we should
The
let you get
majority
back
of
to
my
the topic.
The majority of my sources made it seem like a thing of the past, but then I had a couple of ones that were interviewing people that were still doing it.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or just it's probably passed down still through like certain families that carry the tradition and
Or people just got reinterested in it.
oh true.
So let's kind of set the scene if we're all good to move forward. The place of the murder is called a couple different things. The Hex House, Hex Hollow, Ray Myers Hollow. It's located in York County, Pennsylvania, which is south central PA, very close to the Maryland border. Ray Myers Hollow is pretty close to Stewartstown, so below York.
I just want to say real quick, woo, York County mentioned.
So, main players in the murder?
Yes. The person that was murdered, the victim, was Nelson Raymeyer. He was like 6'2" at the time of the murder, which is tall now, but in like the 1920s, that had to be really, really tall.
He's a big dude.
Yeah. He was born on October 1st of 1868 and was a potato farmer. So maybe he was making false nuts.
Oh, it's full circle.
Man.
Perfect.
It all makes sense now.
He was thought to be strange and reclusive, but he was also reported to be like a really nice person and a pretty well-known Pow Wow doctor, practitioner. Like people would line up at his house to get healed or get things found. Or
Oh, cool.
he was married to a woman named Alice. They got married in 1896, and they had 2 daughters, Beatrice and Edna. Now they were separated at the time of the murder. From like the context I got, it was that constantly having people at their house to be healed put a strain on their marriage,
Yeah.
because people would show up at like 2:00 in the morning and be like, "Hey, my cow's missing."
Yeah. Yeah, that would do it.
If somebody came to my door in the middle of the night and said, "Hey, my cow's missing," I'd say, "Tough luck," and close the door.
The
You
fairies.
you ain't gonna catch
They're taking
me.
the cows.
You ain't gonna catch me at 2 to 3 a.m. looking for a cow.
Ignore.
I'm looking
You
for
know-
some Z's.
As horse people, we're not gonna say that, because my horse got out.
Oh,
not
true.
at 2:00 in the morning. And actually, we don't know. She could have gone out too.
See if
My
you
partner's gone running out in the middle of the night because he's thought he's heard horses out before. He'll go running into the.
see. I don't know why. If it's just me, but I would be more inclined to go after a horse than it would be a cow. I don't think the cow would get too far, but the horse I would believe would get further. That could just be my own bias.
Yeah.
Well, and horses are really good at hurting themselves. Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm not even kidding. Mine tried to die.
Yes.
Like, we had to call the vet. She was like laying on the ground with her head on my legs. I thought she was taking her last breath. It was horrible.
Oh,
She tried to die after she got out. She's fine now.
oh good.
Okay, that's what matters.
She's fine now. But it's like, I agree with you. I would probably be more worried. I don't have cows. I'd probably be more worried about a horse, because they're really. I saw a reel that called them like a giant suicidal hamster.
Correct.
So. All right. Anyways, enough about dying horses. So back to our good friend Nelson Raymeyer. He was also a socialist, which kind of contributed to him being kind of an outcast at the time. A lot of people were wary of his political views.
Wait, what year was?
It was, I think it was
1868 when he was born.
Yeah,
it
so
would've been-
1928.
Oh, yeah, that's about the time of the first Red Scare. Yeah, so a lot of people. I'm just throwing this out, and hopefully I'm not mansplaining here, but like, we all had the Red Scare. We know about that after World War II, but prior to World War II, there was another Red Scare. It's not talked about nearly as much because the Cold War was a lot more significant, but the original hatred towards socialists and communists was well before World War II. There was plenty of that beforehand, but it's just not as widely publicized.
It makes sense, especially post World War One, because World War One was a lot of the same issues.
Yeah.
Minus the genocide.
All right, so kind of moving on from that to like the main murderer of this is John Blymeyer. He's interesting. He was born in York County. Got another York County reference.
What?
There's gonna be a lot of those in this one. In 1895. At the time of the murders, he was 30 years old. It's right. The math is right. 30-ish.
In his 30s.
In his 30s, yeah. He was described as a quote-unquote simple man who suffered from a lifetime of bad luck and medical and mental health challenges. So in this time, simple would have probably mean like a lower IQ.
Mhm.
Okay.
Man, that's just.
Kind of common.
I'd hate to be remembered that way.
Yeah.
Kind of demeaning.
It is, and like there's actually a lot of mental health aspects about this case that I didn't know about until I researched it.
Ooh.
Oh, I love that.
Concerning him and the other. Yeah, there's like looking back, it's like, man, like the mental health system that didn't really exist in the 1920s definitely did not help the situation.
Yeah.
So he had what many of my sources called bouts of real and imagined debilitating illnesses. So these included things like frequent headaches, but he also had some psychosis symptoms. Like he was like diagnosed with having delusions of witches, basically.
Ooh.
He had a wife, but she had left him at one point. He had 3 children, 2 of them passed away, and he had lost his job. He had a really difficult time keeping a job. So, like, there's what sounds like already pre-existing mental health diagnoses, and then we have like issues with his wife. Probably not helped by those. Issues with like two of his children died,
Yeah.
and they're in a culture that really believes in the Pow Wowers. So like, yeah, there's witches. That's like not a question to them.
Sure.
If you're already having delusions, that's not going to help.
Right.
And I'm not downplaying people's beliefs in those types of things, but it's going to kind of just add to this storm.
Yeah.
So he had become convinced at one point that he was hexed. And he was also a practitioner of Pow Wow. It ran in his family. His grandfather was. I didn't put this in here, but there was a story about like a dog going to attack him, and he talked the dog down, and everyone was like, oh my goodness, he's such a powerful Pow Wower because he can calm animals.
Oh, wow.
So, like I said, he was diagnosed with being neurotic and having witch delusions. He was institutionalized in 1923. Don't want to think about what that was probably like.
Yeah.
Wife got him institutionalized, which is the opposite of what usually happens.
Wow.
But usually the women are institutionalized because it was a way that men could just get rid of
Yeah.
their wives.
Hey, that's early girl
Yeah.
bossing.
It was like, oh, my wife's feeling a little down. Let's go just get her a lobotomy.
Yeah.
She has
Yeah.
headaches, get her a lobotomy.
Oh, she's hysterical. She's questioning my political beliefs. Put her
Lobotomy.
in the institution. Because
For real.
where were we? Was it the Was it the Oddities Festival in Lancaster that they had that one stand had the sign that said like it was something for the women, like for women, but it was like literally where like men could just go drop their wives off and just be like, she's hysterical and I don't want to deal with her anymore, and then like they could just go be with whoever else they wanted to be with.
What a crazy time to be alive.
Seriously.
For real, yeah. Oh my
Scary.
goodness. And kind of going back to this institutionalization that he had, it lasted 45 days, and he just like walked out.
Oh.
He just like pieced on out, and then so he was at the Harrisburg State Mental Hospital, or the State Mental Hospital in Harrisburg. He just pieced on out and walked 25 miles back to York on his own.
Is that the one
Okay.
that your dad?
Yeah, can I say a real quick tangent here? So that place is now shut down, and it can be rented out by people to do stuff there. My dad, in 2020, because he's retired, he worked for the census. They were based in there for the area. And that place also has a morgue in it too. They were only on the first floor, and nobody would go to the other floors. They had IT had to come out one day. Her car broke down, and so they were given 2 options: wait inside or wait in their car. And when they wait inside, they wanted to walk around just to kill time, and they asked if they could go to the 3rd floor. They said, yeah, but nobody else is up there. It's vacant. Nobody likes going up there. So they go up there. And while they're up there, they hear the sounds of people walking around and making noises. And nobody else is up there.
Oh.
And so they come down and ask who's up there, who's been freaking them out. And nobody's been up there, and they let them know. And then they spend the rest of the time in their car.
Yeah. That's creepy.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
It is. Oh my
So-
goodness.
So we're in that place is, at least from the tales my dad has told me, and that's fairly recent. That's 5 years ago. Is haunted.
I believe that though. I mean, knowing what I know about how mental hospitals were run in the past,
Yeah.
And it was one
there's
that
some-
also was a morgue was built into it too. So
Mhm.
bit morbid extra fact to it. So sorry to just interrupt on that, but a little side
No, no.
tangent.
We like the real life experiences here.
Yeah, that's really fascinating and terrifying.
Yeah, I would not
Right.
want to be the people there.
So to kind of wrap up about Flymeyer, in 1928, he began working at a cigar factory where he met, it said the other 2 accomplices, but he only met one of them there. That was incorrect. So that accomplice, and this is the one that makes me the saddest actually, was John Curry. He was only 14 when he was only 14 when the murder happened.
Yeah.
He was 14 and working in a cigar factory.
Oh my god.
What?
And he was one of the people that did the murdering.
So
It gets sadder.
14, young enough to work in the cigar factory and young enough to murder.
Well, and it sounds like he had a really rough childhood. His father passed away when he was 5, and his mother traveled around for work and ended up in New York. That's how they ended up there. And his mother married Mr. McLean, who I can only describe as a complete and total asshole. Physically abusive towards mom, towards John as well.
Oh, that's sad.
And yeah, he was working at 14. I'd imagine they probably needed help supporting
Sure.
themselves.
Yeah, you're talking. Well, actually, no, you're right before the Great Depression. So the economy is still. Actually, wait, Great Depression, that started in 28, I think?
Yeah, what did they call that day?
Black Tuesday.
Was it 29?
29.
1929 was when.
Yeah, I can't remember for certain the year, but
I forget.
it was close.
Isn't that a didn't they talk about it in Has-Been Hotel, or am I making that up?
I think they did.
Does Alistair make a comment?
Yeah, he says he hasn't seen this much excitement since the stock market
Crash of 1929.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I know that. That's how I know my history.
I love that.
Thank you to the radio demon.
Take it to the radio demon. He's our favorite.
July,
He's my favorite.
October of
No, I love
1929. So we're probably before that. I'm going to take a wild guess.
28 is where we are right now, so we're right before it.
All right, so
Yeah.
economy is still relatively good, but you still got 14-year-olds looking for work.
Yep. And being physically abused and watching his mom being physically abused. So our last person who did the murdering, conspirator, there's the word, was Wilbert Hess. And he was also very young. He was only 18 at the time the murder occurred. So like Bly Myers rounding up teenagers.
Yeah.
That's so weird because he's like in his
Hess-
30s and then he's just like chilling with.
Yeah, he was just rounding.
That's I just had the same
He knew Curry through work, the 14-year-old. He knew Hess through Hess's father.
I
More
wonder
on
if
that,
Hess
hold on.
is the owner of the Hess farms. I don't know if you
Mm.
guys know that the family, the Hess family, owned like thousands of acres of farms in central Pennsylvania.
Oh.
I mean, this family seemed like they were pretty, not well-to-do, but they seemed like they were pretty
Yeah,
good off for the time because they were able to get a private lawyer instead of like a appointed one. So
Possibly.
maybe, I don't know. That's a nice rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah.
So anyways, Wilbert Hess was 18. The Hess family also felt like they were victimized by Ray Meyer magically, like that they thought that they were being hexed, his family as well. He was from Leaders Heights, which is another southern York County, right off of 83, going towards Maryland. Whoop, whoop. Back to the family living there hexed. Their family farm was experiencing a lot of challenges, including livestock being lost, crops failing, illness, and a land dispute that, if I understood my sources correctly, somehow Ray Meyer's wife was involved in.
Oh.
But I didn't quite understand it. So
She was separated, right?
separated, but they were still married. They were just living separately, I
Yeah.
think.
I don't know why. That makes me think of. Sorry, another random tangent that I think is just funny. My friend was looking for Mother's Day cards today. There's a new section for Mother's Day cards. Mother's Day, married, strained relationship. And it's like,
I mean,
that's what the label of the card said. And inside the card, it's like, we've had better times, we've had worse times. Do you remember that?
Mhm.
But that's a new section
my
there.
goodness.
Married, strained relationship. Like, oh my god.
that's I feel like I would be if I had a strained relationship with my mom or my mother-in-law. I don't think I'd want to get them a card.
Wait,
like that.
with a mother, or was
Oh,
it
no,
for a
it
strained
says
marriage
wife.
relationship? Like,
Wife, strained relationship.
so
Oh.
it's like we're separated, but I'm still gonna give you a card.
Yeah, well, it says,
I don't know how to feel about that.
well, it says, we've seen a lot of for better and for worse since we got married. But looking at the beautiful family we brought into this world together, I have to believe that the good times always have and always will outweigh the bad. Happy Mother's Day.
Wow,
I don't know how I feel about that.
interesting.
That's still one of the. We saw that today, and maybe Mr. Raymeyer here should have gotten that first wife.
Imagine at that time, in the late 1920s, divorce was probably pretty frowned upon.
Yeah,
Probably. I think it did happen, but
Probably accused of being a witch for that too.
yeah, like it was not nearly as readily done, I think, as
I guess they're readily available.
it does you no
that's
favors.
true, though, to be honest. Like,
It does you no favors if you're getting accused of something.
yeah, truly.
All right, so speaking of people who were thought to be witches, we're going to go into our last person here, was Nellie Knoll, who you should know that name from Alba Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about her?
Was she known as the witch of not the witch of the hollow, but like
Marietta.
yes.
You can look at your notes, that's okay.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to.
It's not a pop quiz.
Okay.
Is she one of the three sisters?
I'm sorry.
Is she one of the three sisters?
No, but that sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar, but I can't place why.
'Cause that's a
But
different
she-
group of like alleged witches in the area. I don't know if you noticed at Alba Witch Day, one of the places had a hard cider named after the three sisters.
It did, I tried that.
Oh, cool.
The person didn't think I was over 21, remember that?
Yes. I know she was had a very serious reputation about her.
Yes.
About her person.
Yeah, she was pretty well known, I think pretty kind of feared.
Yeah.
Blymeyer he was trying to discover who hexed him, so he like went through like 20 different witches. Which, can you imagine, like, just going door to door, but like, excuse me, are you a witch?
You have that many
you tell
witches
me-
locally.
You know, that's a good point, like, locally. But then again, he walked all the way from Harrisburg, so maybe he went up to, like, all the way, maybe he went all the way to Reading, who knows?
Yeah, true. He was a wandering man.
He ended up talking to her. We'll get more into this in a little bit, but she helped him discover that Raymeyer was the one that hexed him, so that was the important thing. So as we mentioned earlier, Blymeyer was like absolutely convinced that he was hexed. And this was the reason behind all of his misfortunes. It was like a hex was making him sick. A hex was making him have mental health challenges. A hex was making him lose his job and making his wife leave him and making his children die. So like, I'd imagine he was not in a good place.
No.
Doesn't excuse what he did. But also, like, I don't think he was in his right mind.
Yeah.
He ended up going to Nellie Knoll and to kind of figure out who hexed him. And apparently the hex could only be removed by the person that placed it. So that's why it was so important to figure out who had done the hexing. A couple different versions of this. She gave him a $1 bill, and the picture of George Washington, like, faded into Nelson Raymeyer.
Oh.
And that's how he knew who hexed him. And at first, he was, like, having a hard time believing this because I think they were distant relatives of each other.
Okay.
And he had worked on the potato farm, and, like, Raymeyer hadn't healed him in the past. But he ended up believing Nellie, going, okay, like, how do I unhex myself? And she told him that to break the curse, he would need Raymeyer's copy of The Long Lost Friend and a lock of Raymeyer's hair. And he would need to bury both of those either 6 or 8 feet underground, depending on the source. And that was how you would break the curse.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Did Nellie Knoll know, was she acquainted with Nelson Raymeyer?
I think they were kind of rivals.
Okay. That's where I was going with that. If you have more, I don't want to jump the gun if you have more.
No, I didn't. I kind of left that out because I have like 20 pages of stuff.
That's kind of where my brain went. Is that sounds an awful lot like, oh, this could be a way to get my rival out of the way, or to smear my rival.
Yeah, because I think it was more of a smear, because I don't think the original plan was to murder someone. I think the original plan was to get the book, bury it, get rid of it. That gets rid of some of his powers, I guess.
Yeah.
And then also like prove that he was the hexer person.
Man, this is messy.
So, and like I mentioned earlier, in the early 1900s, people really, really believed in the power of like powwowing. So, like, I don't think it would have been seen in this society as super weird to go witch to witch to witch to try and find these answers.
Sure. Makes sense.
Blymeyer now is thinking, okay, Raymeyer's not going to give up this stuff without some kind of persuasion, so I'm going to get my 14-year-old friend to come help me.
I hate that. I really hate that. Like a lot. That sounds very
It's creepy.
not grooming, but like I'm gonna try to get this kid to take the fall for me. This
Yeah.
young kid that's in a really terrible place, and
And he also ends up enlisting the help of Wilbert Hess as well a little bit later. So let's get into the actual murder. So on November 27th of 1928, Blymeyer and his accomplices went to Raymeyer at his home to try and procure his copy of The Long Lost Friend and the Lock of His Hair in order to burn the book and bury it 8 feet underground. But the night before, Blymeyer and Curry went to Alice's house for some reason.
Okay.
It's like, hey, where's your husband? And she is like, he's down the road.
Huh.
It was weird.
like I wonder if they were like trying to threaten her.
I don't know. But she even like in the police report, she's like, yeah, they came to my house the night before.
Huh.
So what they think happened was they went to Alice's house, and then those two, so Blymeyer and Curry, went to Raymeyer's house and were like chatting with him for a while, and then they actually stayed overnight. And it was really late, so he was like, well, don't go home, it's late, it's scary, don't do that. So while Raymeyer was sleeping, they like tried to like go through the house and find his book,
Okay.
and they couldn't. They decided that they needed more help and were going to come back the next day.
Do you think that they went to Alice's house first as like a way to verify that she wasn't in Raymeyer's house?
Oh, maybe.
That's a good
That's
point.
a good point.
Yeah.
Right. So then there'd be no. You're still giving yourself a witness of like, hey, these people showed up and then this person's dead.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good point, though.
Especially if it sounds like, at least from what you just said, they didn't necessarily go into this planning to hurt him. They were just trying to get his book. So that might have been.
And his hair.
And his hair. So that might have just been like a way to confirm that she wasn't there because, obviously it probably would be easier if there were less people around
Yeah.
to question what they were doing. But they weren't necessarily concerned if she knew they were there because they weren't intending to harm him.
That's true.
Hypothetically.
Yeah. My hair would be so easy to get.
Same.
I don't
Like,
know.
whenever I
Hermione
brush
tried
it,
to do it.
Not influenced.
Hermione tried to do
You
it and she
too?
got a cat hair.
Blymeyer and Curry decide like they're not gonna try and overpower this 6'2" person. The
Pretty
two
good
of them. Our 30-year-old friend and his 14-year-old accomplice aren't gonna try and overpower someone. So Blymeyer somehow knew Hess's father, Milton Hess, and literally was like, so that guy that we think hexed us both, well, I'm gonna try and subdue him to get a lock of his hair and get like his book out of him. So like, can I borrow someone? And then Milton Hess is like, have you met my 18-year-old son?
So Milton believed Raymeyer hexed
Oh, they all
him.
did. The whole family did.
Oh.
But like offering up your 18-year-old son.
That's
my
crazy.
This
Getting
is a
I'm
mess.
just spicy here.
No, this is a mess.
It's like, I'm not gonna help you, but have you met my teenager?
Yeah. I'll put my kid in the line of fire.
No.
He can't go
They
to
decided
jail
to take Hess.
if his son commits the
Take what?
crime.
That is true. He cannot go to jail if his son commits the crime. So at this point, we're looking at assault.
Yeah.
Minimum. So the trio decided to go the very next day. And we're going to get into a little bit of a trigger warning here for some pretty gruesome death and violence and corpses being set on fire.
Oh.
So, fun stuff.
Cool.
So we have the door slightly cracked because it's so hot in here. And my dog is like staring down the hallway at something. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh,
That's
our
the-
dog does that too.
Blymeyer, Curry, and Hess go back to Raymeyer's house and demand that he hand over his book and his lock of hair. And Raymeyer's like, no.
No, thank you.
Like, you and your band of teenagers, go away. Like, what do they do? I'm not laughing because this is funny. I'm laughing because this is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Their
uncomfortable.
response is to, like, brutally murder him and mutilate him. They
Yeah.
hoped that this would lift the curse. Like, not even try and subdue him and knock him out. Like, I'm not saying to assault someone and tie them up, but, like, probably better than murder.
Yeah.
Although then you don't. Oh, I guess they tried to not leave evidence. The sources that I had said that Blymeyer choked Raymeyer, and Curry used either a block of wood to smash in his head, or a chair and a log.
Oh my god.
The 14-year-old was the one that did the smashing.
Wow. Oh, I can't.
Wow.
Oh, something definitely. Like, if he had a terrible childhood, like they say he did, he had something to prove. like some rage
Yeah.
to get out. Holy crap,
Rage to
14.
get out.
The men then ransacked Raymeyer's home and they doused his body with kerosene and ignited it. They then fled, believing that, he'd go up in flames and so would the house. But as was mentioned earlier, the house is still standing. And he didn't really burn, he just kind of smoldered a little bit.
Ooh.
And like the locals believed that Raymeyer was such a powerful powwower that like his spirit was able to douse the.
Huh.
I read something somewhere, I put in the notes because it was really, really upsetting, was that like it's possible that he wasn't actually completely dead and he was able to like move himself enough to get the. Which,
oh, that's heinous.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
So, and all, not only did they kill this person, they never found the things they were looking for, and they didn't take a lock of his hair.
Oh.
What?
So,
God's
Or
sake.
if they did take a lock of the hair, it wasn't in any sources I found.
Yeah.
All of that to not even take one of two things that they needed to come out of that house with.
Right.
I'd imagine it was a lot of panic and very little disco at that point in their brains.
came here for a lock of hair, left with murder charges.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Holy
Oh my
cow.
gosh. So Raymeyer's remains were discovered on November 29th of 1928, which was Thanksgiving Day. The neighbors realized something was wrong because his animals weren't fed.
They would probably call them
So they went to investigate it, because if you don't feed farm animals, they get kind of angry and they make a lot of noise.
Yes.
Even if you do feed them, they get angry and make noise.
You're right.
Like our
So
dog.
Alice Raymeyer then told. Yes, exactly. Alice Raymeyer then told the police that Blymeyer and Curry had stopped by her house looking for Raymeyer the night of the 26th. And Nelson Raymeyer was laid to rest on the 5th of December, 1928 at Sadler's Church in Stewartstown. And it was apparently like a really big, well-attended funeral.
Aww.
And then not long after the murder, the trio was apprehended, and we're going to get into the trials in a second. But before we do that, like, how's everyone doing after those gruesome murders?
Oh, it's so sad
What a
that
mess.
like
I keep
yeah.
saying it. It's so unnecessary is what's striking me. Why?
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, and I think we'll get into like in thoughts a little bit about that, but it's senseless. Yeah.
They're so
I mean,
young.
you said I'm sorry, say it again.
Like the is it Curry and Hess are both like so young. Like they just gave up. They got so much
Yeah.
of their life taken away from them because this idiot
Yeah.
Blymeyer decided that he was like he wanted to do something crazy.
He couldn't just be evil by himself. He had to drag two kids into it.
Oh, and I wonder, especially for Curry, who didn't have like. We're gonna get into attachment theory a little bit here. Hold on to your hats. I wonder if part of it was he didn't really have this like male figure, right? His father died when he was 5. He was abused by his stepfather, and then Blymeyer comes in and is giving him all this attention and is like befriending him, and it's almost like that, like almost like you said grooming, but like not in like a sexual way.
Yeah, not in a sexual abuse way, but still a very toxic and harmful way.
Yeah, definitely.
Would it still be
Gross.
considered grooming
No, grooming is like
for sexual?
Yeah.
So would it just be influencing or indoctrinating or?
Yeah,
And-
probably.
There's a word and I can't.
Just
I
like
know. I'm trying to
manipulation.
think of what it is.
Almost like making him like dependent, like it's.
Like giving him Stockholm syndrome almost.
Or even like, so a lot of times when people are in like abusive, even emotionally abusive relationships, they are made to feel in a way that like, what am I trying to say?
They're isolated from everyone by the abuser.
So I don't know if that's what was happening here, but I almost wonder if some of that was like, okay, this kid didn't have anyone to look up to at home. He was being beat, and this person's being nice to him, so of course he's going to attach to him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ugh.
Attachment trauma.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys ready to move on to the trial?
Take it away.
So
So
I actually have a quick question. How'd they get caught?
I don't think they hid that they did it.
Oh,
And also, Alice Raymeyer was like, I saw these people.
She kind of gave him
Yeah.
away.
Like, from what I understand, his entire life, Blymeyer never had any regret. And he was like, yeah, I'd do it again.
we'll probably get into this, but I'm curious if he met the definition of clinically insane for the case.
We'll get
there. We'll get there.
We'll get into that. But I don't think they were like, I mean, I don't think they were super secretive about it. And like, they went and talked to Alice first. So she was like, yeah, the families knew each other.
Yeah.
Poor Alice, too. She's probably thinking, oh my God, was there something I could have done?
Yeah.
Oh, bless her heart.
But also with his renown as like a powwower, I don't know that was that odd to have people come over and be like, hey, I'm looking for your husband.
Sure. Yeah.
Good question, though.
All right. On to the trials.
So they started on January 7th of 1929, beginning with Blymeyer. His court case lasted from did I say January or July?
January.
January.
Okay, that's right. From January 7th to January 9th, and was presided over by Judge Sherwood. Herbert Cohen was Blymeyer's pro bono lawyer. Judge Sherwood did not want talk or evidence related to hexting. I feel like hexing or witchcraft. It was to be prosecuted as a robbery gone wrong. It kind of was. That did not happen because Hess's brother Clayton used the word witch in his testimony, went in the public record, and then it just was total chaos after that.
Oh,
no.
I wonder if that was on purpose.
Yeah.
The insanity defense was used, but it was unsuccessful.
Okay.
Blymeyer was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison and sent to Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia.
Oh.
I've been there.
Ooh.
Yeah, me too.
I did an episode
No.
on them. I did an episode on that
Cool.
prison, and then
Cool.
Frank and I have toured that too.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive
Like, it
place.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
My husband and I went there back in March of last year, not this past March, and we had a hard time leaving because we couldn't find the way out.
Yeah.
I remember we missed Outback Witch Day for that
Okay.
because that year we had
I
to
did-
decide Penhurst or Outback Witch Day.
Yeah. Just what the silence that they made those prisoners sit in, that's what kills me. I won't go too far into it so we don't add another 30 minutes to the episode, but
What? No more tomfoolery and random tangents.
there's time for that, and don't worry. So to kind of close up on the trial for Blymeyer, because we're going to talk about a little bit what happened to all three of them after the trial, because spoiler alert, they did not serve out their life sentences.
oh,
He didn't, and no one served out their full sentence.
huh.
So at the trial, Blymeyer's own father testified that he was sick, couldn't work, and there was something the matter with his head. So John Curry was next in court. His court session went from January 10th to 11th. Walter von Bayman was appointed to him as his pro bono lawyer and argued that Curry was the victim of social neglect and parental abuse. He literally, in the trial, turned to Curry's mother, pointed at her, and said, "There is the person responsible for this boy being where he's at today."
Oh.
And witchcraft wasn't mentioned at all in his part of the trial.
Wow.
So, like, they went hard.
I was going to say the 1930s of it all. Dang. Or, well, not quite 1930s,
1920s,
but
yeah.
Close
He
enough.
was also good.
I was just saying close enough.
yeah.
Yeah. He was also convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. I don't know what prison, though. I didn't write that part down.
Yeah.
All right. Wilbert Hess's is the most interesting part of this entire trial. His lasted from January 11th to 12th.
It was
And
2 days.
Harvey Gross was retained by Hess's father to represent him in court. And he was able to find the following narrative from Mrs. Hess. Gross asked Mrs. Hess when she had heard that Ray Meyer had been killed. And Mrs. Hess said that she heard the next morning when her son, Wilbert, after coming back from his brother Clayton's house, had told her mother, "I didn't want to go down there last night. I didn't want to do what they got me to do, but the man is dead, and I hope you shall get better." So I'm taking it that the mother was sick, and they thought that the hex was part of it.
Oh.
One of my sources said the Hess boy was a sacrificial lamb. He went down, this is like the narrative they pushed, that the Hess boy was a sacrificial lamb. He went down to the hollow to break the curse and save his family. And at one point during the trial, the lawyer pointed to Mrs. Hess and said, "This poor woman no more wanted to send her boy down to the hollow that night than old Abraham wanted to lead his son up to the altar on the high mountain." Only in this case, God did not provide a substitute for the sacrifice. So they were like comparing him to
Isaac and Abraham.
yeah,
Wow.
like basically he was the sacrificial lamb of the whole shebang, which is,
Didn't his father say, like,
here's my son.
here's my child? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
This actually kind of worked.
Oh my god.
They really hit the heartstrings on that one.
They did.
Yeah.
Well, and like they were able to afford a lawyer to do that.
Mm-hmm. I struggle with how to feel about Hess.
So he was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Some of my sources said 10 to 20.
I'm
Okay.
wondering
Right,
if like
Oh, good.
I'm wondering if his dad didn't feel as bad making him the sacrificial lamb with the knowledge that they could afford a high profile lawyer.
Right.
So like his dad needs Ray Meyer dead because his crops are failing and whatever other things he thinks Ray Meyer's connected to, and he's like, well, I can let my son go for this because I know I can afford to get him a lawyer that's gonna get him a lesser sentence than like the other boys that are involved. And man. Other boy man.
All the stuff he's making his son go through, though, it's like, you'll be fine. You're not going to sit in jail for
Yeah.
a couple years. It's great.
It's only a decade.
God, and especially, yeah, only a decade of
Decade.
your life just gone.
18, you'll get out before you're 30. It's fine.
You still have good years left.
Yeah,
Good years left.
just to start for beginning of World War II.
Well, we're going to get into that in a second.
Okay.
So Curry was paroled after 10 years and released in 1939. At age 24, because remember, he was tried as an adult at 14 and convicted. At age 24, he went on to join the military, and he was on General Eisenhower's staff and helped draft the plans for the invasion of Normandy.
What?
What?
Yes.
That's cool. You go from murdering a guy in York, PA, to drafting the plans for D-Day.
Normandy, yeah.
That's insane.
Can you imagine being on staff with him? They're like, tell me about your childhood. No, you know, I was in prison for 10 years because I murdered someone like horribly.
He just has to give like the dead stare. I murdered a man. That's all you gotta say.
Well, I think that it's interesting that he worked for Eisenhower, like for General Eisenhower, because Gettysburg College has the Eisenhower Institute, and so Eisenhower was at Gettysburg College, like in the Gettysburg area, quite often. So I'm wondering if he knew, like, the background of
Maybe.
Curry, and so like it's interesting
Yeah.
that he would have brought him on there.
And like it seems like Curry really did turn his life around
Yeah.
because
Good.
and then he became a painter after the war, and apparently like he was pretty well respected in like the artistic circles in York County, and there's people that still have like his pieces in their house.
I want to see these pieces.
We should Google them later.
We should. I'm the art history nerd in me. I know this is dark, but like, I need to see these pieces.
I imagine him painting landscapes, but I don't know if that's true. That's just where my brain goes.
Yeah.
I just find
But
that
he
so
learned the skill. He
fascinating.
learned how to paint in jail, and like he learned the skills to do to draft the plans and stuff
Yeah.
for Eisenhower in jail. He owned livestock. He painted. He had a good reputation, and he died of a heart attack in 1963 while shoveling a load of corn.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wow.
He
His
lived-
life is just a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. That's what a life.
Yeah, he lived quite the life.
He lived multiple lives, dare we say? Wow.
All right, so our next person is Hess. We're gonna do Blymeyer last. Our next person is Hess. He served. My notes say the full 10 years, but it depends on like some of my sources said he had a 20-year sentence.
Okay.
So he served 10 years, and he went on to live a quiet life as much as possible. He worked at a welding company and raised a family, and he passed away in 1979.
How was he involved in the murder again?
I don't think he did any of the actual killing. I think he just
Kind of ended
helped.
up being there and witnessing it and potentially like
ransacking
ransacking.
and
Burning it down.
it didn't. Yeah, lighting things on fire.
So he
He
was
was an accomplice to the murder.
yes, he was definitely culpable in it in that way, but Sorry, I just couldn't remember. Anyway,
He wasn't as actively involved as Curry or Blymeyer.
right.
And then Blymeyer, of his life sentence, he served 23 years and was paroled in 1953. According to his brother, there was absolutely no change in his behavior. He was still like not remorseful. He was like, "Yeah, I'd do it again."
Okay.
He died of pneumonia in 1972 and was estranged from his family.
Well, makes sense.
So this trial, like, kind of shook international news a little bit. The murder case, because the elements of witchcraft and spells in the testimonies were national news, and the kind of press focused were things on hexing and voodoo. It gave York County a really bad reputation for a while of being like having a population that was uneducated, superstitious, and like country folk.
Hmm.
And this murder began like a hex scare in the region, and there were several other murders related to powwowing not long after it.
Oh,
Wow.
like powwowers were murdered, or
Or people were murdered, and they were blaming powwowers.
oh,
So it's
Come
almost like
on,
a
y'all.
satanic panic.
Yeah,
yeah.
a couple years early.
Something's going
but
wrong
it,
in
like,
my life, so I'm going to blame a hex.
Yeah. So like it added to this, or it made this panic of people thinking like the murders were hex related, and it like this whole thing completely destroyed the public's trust in powwowing.
Mm.
All right.
Sad.
Yeah, we're gonna get some extra facts. Some of these are more fun.
Yay.
So
Lighthearted?
like you said, most of them are.
Good.
They're just a lot of them I thought were interesting, and then I have a tangential story about powwowing.
Oh, okay.
I don't do powwowing, but my parents, when I mentioned this, I'm like, oh yeah, I know about this.
Yeah.
Like Christiana said, the house is currently still there and it's privately owned, so please don't trespass.
Yeah.
Wikipedia was very specific. They have an ADT security system.
Yes. People will try to go
Mhm.
there, and please don't. Please don't. We're telling you, please do not.
I'm not surprised people try and do that. I mean,
Yeah.
we had people try and raid Area 51 almost.
Yeah.
That's
The-
true.
The Hex House
Well,
has significantly lower defenses.
Yeah. Dudley Town, that I want to cover eventually, is another one that people try to go to, and that's privately owned. So please don't trespass, guys. We don't want anyone to get in trouble. We don't want to get in trouble for our listeners. Please don't do that.
Yeah, it's crazy whenever there's these like historical things. Whether it's crazy that there's some of these things that like are unsolved, mysterious, but now they're on private property. Because we went to Kecksburg and we were told that you can find where the crash site allegedly was, but it's now private property,
Oh.
and they don't let people on that property.
Right. Be respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this next fact, interesting thing, is not lighthearted. Sorry, I forgot about this one. A year before the Raymeyer murder, Gertrude Rudy, who was a 16-year-old girl, was discovered dead in the railroad tracks. She was killed by a shot from a shotgun at close range.
Ooh.
It was speculated that Blymeyer murdered her.
Wow.
He was never convicted or put on trial. The story was that he had supposedly gotten her pregnant and wanted to get rid of the evidence.
Oh.
A family member reported that Blymeyer's shotgun had mysteriously vanished right around the time of the murder, and it's still unsolved. I couldn't find a whole lot. The only thing I could really find, because I was like, well, let me like Google this more, right? And I found an article from, I think in like the York papers, from the Raymeyer trial referencing this murder and the fact that Blymeyer was thought to have been the murderer. But that was all I could find on this entire thing.
Interesting.
And that's sad too, because that's her life that was just gone.
16.
16. Wow.
Okay, more lighthearted stuff. Blymeyer's lawyer, Herbert Cohen, actually had a pretty decent career. He served as a state house majority leader, then an attorney general, and finally as a Supreme Court justice from 1957 to 1970.
Go off.
There's some big connections to this case.
There
Yeah.
are. I found this interesting. So most of the information I found on powwowing was in South Central PA, even into more Central PA. But those practices actually extend even further. So basically, any place people of German ancestry went, but there's like Southern Appalachian traditions that are similar. The Ozarks, the Midwest, the Dakotas, Ontario, Brazil, and Russia. Like there were similarities all over the place there. As I mentioned earlier, I was telling my parents about this. They were like, "Yeah, we know about powwowing." When our parents were little, so my grandparents, their great grandparents' time, like there was this guy that used to come down to Reading from Hawk Mountain, which is its own. That might honestly be a mini episode. Yeah, Hawk Mountain Sanctuary up in Berks County, and like, yeah, this guy would come into Reading and would like heal people. Like yeah, he's a powwow doctor, which they never mentioned it before, and it was just so weird to me that they were just like, yeah, we know about that.
That's interesting. And I know your parents now a little bit, and I love that they would just casually drop that. You know what I mean? Like so just like, oh yeah, that's something
Yeah,
good.
we know about that.
I don't mean that in a negative way.
No.
I just,
Like, okay.
that's very cool.
My parents drop. They listen to this too, so
They're dropping lore like me.
they do. They do. There's like a headless horseman apparently on like Mount Penn up in Reading. My mom's like, yeah, we used to go looking for him. I used to sneak out with my friends. We go looking for him.
I want to go looking for it.
Group trip to Reading.
Reading's a weird place.
Hey, they got a hockey team. That's what matters to me.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah,
not that
they
long
do
ago.
hockey. Yeah, you were in Reading last night.
I went to see the Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby.
The ballet.
The other kind of random thing, I didn't go into this. I was talking about like the hexery, but sometimes people would believe that they could take the form of like animals, especially black cats,
Ooh.
and that way they could like get around more easily and spy on people, like the drones.
Like the
And my husband's a family member of my husband's was telling me that like what would have been my husband's great grandmother like believed that one of their neighbors was a witch and like would turn into a black cat, and I guess they found the black cat like trying to like sit on one of his aunts or great aunts or something, and I thought like the witch was trying to kill the child. It's really weird.
Huh.
He's from this area, so
Right.
Interesting.
So you've got like relatively direct connections to a lot of this stuff, which is really not the murders, but Pow Wow.
yes, I've direct.
Don't say that on a podcast.
I'm not the serial killer.
True.
Okay, so I'm interested. Like, what were your thoughts? What thoughts did you guys have on just this whole case, this whole weird thing?
Who wants to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. It definitely came back to me as you were talking about it, so I do remember more from the episode of Morbid that I listened to. I'll be honest, I was probably making lots of donuts at that time because I worked in a bakery at the time that would have come out,
Ooh.
and I started my shifts at 4 a.m, and I spent all my mornings listening to Morbid. Side tangent, but I don't know. I think
I'm
it's.
so excited that I found a fellow morbid listener.
I know.
Just to say it, sorry.
Oh yeah, we can talk about it all the time. I love Morbid. So fascinating to me. Like this is why I love true crime things, because there's such an interesting dynamic of how we get from like one thing to another, and so we get from like, I think my stuff's cursed. This guy may have cursed me. I need his book of spells and his hair, and then now he's dead, and now I'm still not remorseful. Like even though I guess I didn't want to kill him, but like I'm not remorseful that he did die, even though I didn't get nothing changed for me. Like so it's like you did go kill him then, like
Yeah.
and then you groomed whatever word we're talking about there, a 14 and 18-year-old to like do the dirty work with you so that you wouldn't be the only one taking the downfall. Like that's weird, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It
It seems
does
to be a complete lack of
yeah.
empathy with him. Like it seems like complete apathy. Like
Yeah, very antisocial,
yeah,
like personality traits there. But it was interesting that like I guess that I'm not surprised, but I am surprised that these kinds of practices were going as late as this time period. Like I just I guess assumed that this kind of stuff would be more in like 1800s. So I'm surprised that it was in this far into the 30s. But even if you think now, a lot of people still practice their own versions of witchcraft, Wiccan, things like that. Just a little bit different.
Sure.
But I mean, I guess those would be my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I share a lot of same thoughts. I thought this was going to be the 1800s. I'm surprised on how late this happened, like relatively
Yeah.
late. Especially the one thing that really fascinated me was what you mentioned was the reaction to the community over this, about how others followed suit and started accusing people of hexing, targeting these people. I mean, I mean, in a morbid sense, fascinating to see the witch hunt still happening then. Granted, we had the satanic panic then a few decades later, so history kind of repeats itself, and we're kind of like approaching that again, almost with more modern day satanic panics.
Yeah. We really haven't learned from
No,
our history.
We have not.
Like
you're doomed to repeat
the
it, they
witch,
say.
like yeah, I mean Salem, Boston, Hartford, and then this many years later, we're essentially doing the same thing towards Pow Wowers, and then later in the 1970s, like you guys brought it up, like the Satanic Panic. It's like, friends, this is in the history books. Come on, y'all, we gotta do better as a species.
One thing I actually did want to ask about, well, or do you want me to say this in closing questions or now?
Now.
Okay. Sorry, it's more question. You mentioned how they attempted to burn his body. Did it not burn properly? I forget if you said something or
No.
missed that.
So he only kind of smoldered.
Yeah, now I remember you said
Um,
that. So is that? I know some people connect that with like magic or and stuff like that potentially, like witchcraft.
Yeah, people thought that he was like so powerful that even in death he was able to put it out. But I also read somewhere that it's possible he wasn't completely dead, and like he was able to move enough to put the fire out, which is worse.
Let's go with option A over option B.
Magic, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll take
100%.
that.
Let's go.
Yeah, we'll
With
just
magic,
think
I
he's
love
like
that better.
York, PA's version of Rasputin.
Yeah.
I got that song stuck in my head.
Oh
like,
no!
don't sing.
Christiana, did you get a chance to say your thoughts?
I said them a little earlier, but just how messy this all is. I forgot how complex this case is, with this like potential rivalry between Nellie Knoll and Ray Meyer himself. How much of that was her just blaming him versus, oh no, he actually hexed you. The mental health side of it.
Oh, that's a huge thing, yeah.
That is, I forgot how huge potential mental health disorders played a role in this case. And I really hope that what's his name, Curry, got better. It sounds like he did.
Sounds like he did.
Same with Hess, because I do feel like Hess was very much a sacrificial lamb in the way that they described it. Like that's the way the defense ruled it or played it. Sounds like it very much tried to pull on people's heartstrings, and it definitely gets on mine. But I do think they have a point. Like, yeah, I mean, he was like just given up by his dad. Like, good luck. And I can't imagine my father just throwing me to the wolves like that and being like, "You're fine. I'll get you a lawyer." Okay, thanks, thank you. That's huge soothing help to me. and like the trauma of him having to sit there and just witness this brutal,
Or help with it.
Yeah.
I also think that along with the mental health side, it was a community that really reinforced some of the so Blymeyer's idea of I'm being hexed. Everyone was like, yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened. That's what it means when you have bad luck or you're sick. Like you're being hexed, obviously. So that really kind of made a perfect storm.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you said, Sage, he had some antisocial personality traits and or maybe even like psychopathy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't know. I'm not diagnosing him.
No.
No, I'm armchair psychologying at the second.
So what drew you to this topic?
It's interesting because it's a local thing.
Sure.
And I've always known about the Pow Wow stuff, but I've never really looked into it this deeply before. So the fact that it was very local, I think I probably really heard about it in depth on the Strange Familiars podcast.
Oh, okay.
the people that we always see at Alba Twitch and I'm never too brave to say hi to. Like, I'm gonna go do it. And like, nope.
Was there a rabbit hole you wish you could have explored further in this topic?
Yes, the texts that were mentioned to the long lost friend and the books of Moses.
Oh,
I didn't. Some of my sources went in depth, and I'm like, this is going to be a 5-hour episode if I go into this. And then just the other Pow Wow murders.
Yeah. That's another one that's like they're kind of lost to history. So it's sad.
The earliest satanic panic part 1.
Yeah. What did you find most strange about this topic?
Has this defense working?
Yeah.
And then just the whole thing with Curry. Like, we've kind of like gone on that ad infinitum at this point, or ad nauseum. But like, he was 14 and he was still tried as an adult. I mean, it was a gruesome murder. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, that's still pretty upsetting though.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna jump into our outro in a second. Do you guys want to plug your stuff really quick again? Like where to find you?
Yeah.
I will let Frank do that because he ends all our episodes for us.
So once again, we're the Unknown, Unsolved, Unseen podcast. You can find us on anywhere you can find podcasts besides YouTube, and you can find us on Instagram at Unknown, Unsolved, Unseen podcast, or Blue Sky, which I have not posted for us yet, on Triple U Pod. So you can find us there. Go support us, and check out our stuff. If you're interested in anything from the cryptids like the Ahul, the Mapinguari, or unsolved true crime like the Frankfurt sewer murders, or spooky stuff like all the haunted hotels and stuff out of this world, go check us out. We got a little bit of everything, and especially if you like something strange, go check out the Cleopatra episode. They were great on that episode. Our longest episode yet, solely because it was probably the most fun one we've ever recorded.
Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
It was a fun episode.
It was fun.
Well, strangers, we'd love to hear from you. If you have a suggestion for a strange or mysterious topic, a comment about an episode, or just want to chat, please reach out. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, and YouTube. Comment directly on episodes on Spotify and YouTube, or leave a review of the podcast as a whole on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Find us on Instagram at something_strange_pod, on Facebook at Something Strange Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at something_strange_pod, and check out our strange content over at TikTok at somethingstrangepod01.
You can also send us a Gmail at somethingstrangepod24@gmail.com, and the 24 is numeric.
When is Alba Twitch?
Oh, yeah, we wanted to shout Alba Twitch Fest out, too, because that's coming up here. When this episode drops, it would be in 2 weeks.
Let me look. It's always my birthday weekend.
It should be, I believe it's October 5th.
That's what it was last year, but my...
Yeah.
I think it's October 4th this year.
Oh, 4th. Okay.
Oh, wait. It's saying October 11th.
Oh, is it? Is it
No,
not
it might have pushed it back a week.
Yeah, it's the 11th.
So Alba Twitch weekend, Alba Twitch Day in Lancaster is on October 11th. So I guess be a little closer to 3 weekends past once this episode is posted. If you're looking for some fun times around South Central PA, check out Alba Twitch Day. It's a lot of fun. It's just a small little festival. There's good food there. There's a fun trolley ride.
Fun.
Bree is not a fan, but yeah, check that out. Give them some love, and go listen to Triple U because they are amazing.
Well, strangers, it's time for us to part ways.
Until next time, keep your long lost friend close
And stay out of Raymeyer's Hollow.
We'll be back again soon with another
Something
Something Strange.